The Honorable Member for Lake Kopiago.
Acting Speaker, thank you, Lord. You give him time, Lord. People blow me, Lord. Koroba-Lake Kopiago. I have a series of questions for Minister for Mining, and for which our good Prime Minister, Environment Minister, and the Minister for Health can take note. But before I do, because it's my first time to speak, I want to thank my people of Koroba and Lake Kopiago for giving me the opportunity to represent them in this house. It is with heavy heart. Before I ask the questions, I want to give some background to the questions I'm asking in relation to Strickland River pollution caused by program mining. It is with heavy heart that I bring to this honorable house the decades of ignored destruction on the environment, lives and livelihoods of my people of Strickland. In the Lake Kopiago LRG for over 30 years, since the program mining started operation. But these people do not or have not received any benefits from this mine up to today. And today we're talking about reopening the mine. But our people have been left behind all of these years. I believe there are districts and provinces in this country with similar stories like my people of Lake Kopiago. The Angabanga, the Fly, the Watut, the seas like the Tabar, Misima and Bisamuk, for that matter. Acting Speaker, I have overwhelming scientific evidence from reputable sources that confirm the existence of extreme environmental pollution and negative health impacts in my side of the country as a result of program mining. The studies of an Australian premier scientific institution called the CSIRO, Commonwealth Scientific and Industrial Research Organization, whose studies in 1996, 2007, and 2012 on the Progress Strickland River system. The 2006 and the 2009 reports from the Norwegian Pension Fund Global, whose Ethics Council recommended for the exclusion of the Canadian Barrick Gold in 2009 and the China's Jinjin Mining Corporation in 2012, each for causing severe environmental damage to the Strickland River system and in some of the countries that these two companies operate as well. These two companies were the last operators of the program mine until the 25th of August 2020, upon which the issuance of the new SML-11 and the ownership transferred to Kumul Minerals Holdings Limited. However, they are all advancing to partnership, and the legacy issues of the mining and the tailings disposal remains and it's never been discussed in all of these negotiations. Acting Speaker, the other exhaustive scientific information on food is gathered by the Constitutional Law and Reform Commission of 2007. Report number 6, Review of the Environmental and Mining Laws relating to the management and disposal of tailings. These references were issued by then late Somare Temu government in 2007 in relation to the Kodabu report of 2007 on the Angabanga River, sponsored by the central provincial government. And this is the same question that's been raised every now and then, seeking answers by the good member for Mekho, Kairoku, Honorable Peter Isiamo, on this floor of Parliament. I am also happy to acknowledge a letter by the former Minister for Environment and Conservation, Honorable Wera Mori, who boldly admitted through that letter the existence of the extreme environmental pollutions and profound health issues on the Strickland Basin. in his letter to the Prime Minister dated 25th of February 2021. And I quote,
Honorable member, because it was your first time asking question, I've allowed enough time for you to give a background on that question. So I
okay.
think I'll ask you now to go straight to your question.
Thank you, Acting Speaker. I'll be very brief. Okay, so, Acting Speaker, given the aforementioned independent reports and admittance by the former minister, my questions are as follows. Question number one, to our good Minister for Mining, what is your department's position on the pollution of the Strickland River system and its effects on lives and livelihoods of my people? And I think the same is said, or can be said, of our people from Lagai on the Pogra side, the Enga side. Can you give assurance to my people that their plights will be considered or are being considered in the new Pogra negotiations? Number three, would you agree with me that the environmental liabilities of the old Pogra needs to be segregated or separated before going forward in the new Pogra with the citizens untainted, and I repeat, untainted, Kumul Minerals Holdings Limited? And finally, given the overwhelming body of evidence of extreme environmental and health and physical degradation on my people's habitat, what is your plan for the full compensation, and if any, so in what form, shape, and when? Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable Minister for Mining.
Mr. Speaker, Acting Speaker, or Deputy Speaker, let me thank the member for Lake Kopiago for that very detailed and very serious question on a very serious matter. Mr. Speaker, I would like to also thank the member for Lake Kopiago for giving me a copy of his questions before he asked the question. So I was able to have a brief discussion with the Minister for Environment. Mr. Acting Speaker, we both agree that this matter falls within the responsibility for both of us. So I want to point that out because I have been guilty in answering some questions recently that had more implications on environment than mining. But I failed to acknowledge each side of the responsibility, so I just wanted to emphasize that this question perhaps is more about environment than it is mining financial and business operations. So I will acknowledge that and allow the Minister for Environment to say a few words if he needs to, otherwise to take note and refer it to his environmental scientists, because this is a matter that requires more scientific attention. But Minister, because, Mr. Speaker, the environmental laws or SEPA regulations monitor and ensure the chemical contents of the tailings and other waste streams from the mining and processing plants to ensure that these materials are neutralized or they are reduced to a global acceptable limits of metal contents or are detoxified before these metals are released into the environment. That is why it is important that the Minister for Mining perhaps should be referred these questions. Mr. Deputy Speaker, for solid wastes and tailings, the construction of waste dumps or tailing dumps are very challenging, and many mines have been permitted to use what is referred to as failing waste rock dumps. whereby the overburdens or waste rocks that are put in the systems, river systems, as additional solid materials, that these are chemically tested to ensure that they do not toxify or become toxic to the environment. Mr. Deputy Speaker, I will be referring this question to my department for more detailed analysis, especially for consideration by the Kumul Minerals, which owns the mine, which is our government, which is us, to handle the commercial side of this concern. Mr. Speaker, environmental issues and how we handle them very seriously affect the commercial operations of the mine. We have been very concerned, and I think member for Kairukwiri and other members have raised these issues. And I also mentioned that what we do with our waste and how we dump them and how we pay attention to this waste is not only affecting our environment, but it also is affecting our reputation at the global scene. We still have to do business with the rest of the world, and how we and our finances also depend on the international markets. And as I said before, the way we handle the wastes also affect our reputation and our marketability on the international scene. But at the same time, we have to protect and respect the sanctity of the licenses we grant to mining companies. So somewhere there lies the responsibility of this government to provide a balance on the business side, as well as to ensure that the environment is kept clean and that the people do not unnecessarily suffer. But that is the area that I want to live. That is the environmental area or considerations or environmental science that I want to leave to the minister responsible to maybe address. But before I sit down, I want to say that we are now in the process of finalizing our negotiations with Pogera, the new Pogera, and we are very, very close to finalizing that, and we'll be making a statement in the next week where we are. But we have the environmental issues have been sorted out, but I will not dwell on that. Again, I'll leave it to the minister. But the commercial side and the mining operations have been sorted out, and especially the taxation issue relating to Barrick, and we are now ready to move forward. But these are the concerns, and these are very serious concerns. My heart goes out to people who are affected by the environment, and I want to assure the member that we will do whatever we can to ensure that the environment is kept protected and clean for the benefit of our people. But let me say this, that on the mining side, operation side, commercial side, we are ready to move forward. These matters are very serious, so I will now refer them to the Minister for Environment to handle. Thank you.